Stop what you are doing right now and watch this freaking video, or else I'll cry like a 10-year-old girl. If not for me, then do it for the puppies. Let's begin. Cincinnati versus Miami. I want to wish Tua Tagovailoa a full recovery from his terrifying injury that he suffered in the second quarter of this game. He shouldn't have even been playing, that much is obvious, and you can bet there are going to be serious problems for both the Dolphins and the league as a result of his concussion. As for the actual game, it was a tightly contested 14-12 contest going into halftime when Cincinnati ahead. Miami even took a 15-14 lead into the fourth quarter behind massive hammerhead wiener haver Teddy Bridgewater's leadership. Unfortunately for Miami, the success ended there. They were promptly outscored 13-0 in the fourth, although Teddy got the ball back down 5 with a chance to lead a game-winning drive, but he threw an interception in Cincinnati's red zone with 3 minutes left. Joe Burrow then found ginger tight end Hayden Hurst for a touchdown with 1:52 left to reach the final score 27-15. Miami is 3-1, no offense to the 2016 Warriors, but they might as well be 3-11 now. Minnesota versus New Orleans. Still mourning from the tragic death of Queen Elizabeth at the young age of 96. The Brits needed a pick-me-up, and thankfully for them, the NFL was there to provide it by giving them this Kirk Cousins-Andy Dalton duel. The two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks traded touchdowns to make it 7-7 late in the first half, before Minnesota kicked 3 straight field goals to take a 16-7 lead in the third. New Orleans responded with a Latavius Murray touchdown run to make it 16-14 entering the fourth. Another Minnesota field goal made it 19-14, but not before Taysom Tebow ran for a score and New Orleans converted a 2-point conversion to make it 22-19. Cousins wasn't finished though, as he led a 75-yard touchdown drive capped off by a Justin Jefferson touchdown run, but the extra point was missed to give Minnesota a 25-22 lead with 4 minutes left. Dalton answered back, setting up Will Lutz with a game-tying 60-yard field goal to make it 25-all with 1:51 left, but they left too much time for non-primetime Kirk Cousins. And he calmly led Minnesota into field goal range for a 47-yard game-winning field goal with 24 seconds left to take a 28-25 lead. Dalton did set up Lutz for a potential game-tying 61-yard field goal as time expired, but it doinked off the crossbar, no offense to the Bears, to seal the Minnesota win. Can you believe the British probably think Kirk Cousins is the most clutch quarterback of all time? Atlanta versus Cleveland. If you're a weirdo who hates passing, then this game was for you. There were 0 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions, 379 combined rushing yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns. How boring. The Falcons jumped out to a 10-0 first quarter lead after a Young-Ho Koo, no offense to R. Kelly, field goal, and a Cordero Patterson touchdown run. But the Browns answered back with 13 unanswered points over the next 2 quarters to take a 13-10 lead into the fourth. Atlanta retook the lead 17-13 with a 5-yard touchdown run by Caleb Huntley, but Cleveland answered right back with a 28-yard touchdown run by Nick Chubb to go up 20-17. Koo made a chip shot field goal to tie the game at 20 with 7 minutes left. Jacoby Brissett got Cleveland to the verge of field goal range, but unfortunately he sucks, so Cleveland had to punt. Atlanta kicked another field goal with 2:33 left to go up 23-20, leaving plenty of time for Brissett to answer, but again, he really sucks, so he threw an interception and ended the game. Once the Browns get Groper Cleveland back from suspension at quarterback, they will be a real problem. As for Atlanta, they are 2-2, but much like the Paranormal Activity movies, they scare absolutely nobody with any intelligence or common sense. I can't wait to watch Atlanta lose by 25 to Brady next week. LA Chargers versus Houston. In a game the Chargers absolutely had to win, the good version of Justin Herbert showed up to lead the team to a 34-24 win over a bad Texans team. It started out looking like an LA blowout, as a Herbert touchdown pass and 2 Austin Eckler touchdown runs put LA up 21-0 early in the second, but these are the Chargers, remember? Houston scored on a 75-yard touchdown run by Dameon Pierce to make it 21-7, then LA added 2 field goals before halftime to make it 27-7. Game over, right? Wrong. Davis Mills threw a touchdown to Rex Burkhead, aka Edward Norton from American History X, to make it 27-14 entering the fourth. Mills then found Brandon Cooks for another touchdown to cut the LA lead to 27-21. LA fumbled a kickoff return, setting up Houston for a potential go-ahead score, but they settled for a field goal to make it 27-24 with 8:34 left. It was at this point Herbert realized if he lost to Davis Mills for the second year in a row, and just a week after losing to Trevor Lawrence, he would be roasted badly on social media. So he calmly led LA on a long, game-clinching touchdown drive with a touchdown pass to Eckler to make it 34-24 with 2:28 left. Mills threw a desperation interception on Houston's next drive, and that was that. Herbert now has a 17-19 career record. Here's hoping he can get it above 500 at some point this season. Dallas versus Washington. The 2022 Ginger Bowl between Super Bowl 52 champion Carson Wentz and new Cowboys starting quarterback Cooper Rush was pretty uneventful. Dallas jumped out to a 6-0 lead thanks to 2 field goals before Wentz found Jahan Dotson for a touchdown to take a 7-6 lead. But Rush was not intimidated, as he found Michael Gallup on a touchdown just before halftime to give Dallas a 12-7 lead at the break. The two teams exchanged field goals to make it 15-10 Dallas heading into the fourth, when Rush put a dagger into Washington early on a 30-yard touchdown pass to CeeDee Lamb to go up 22-10. Wentz got 5 drives in the fourth quarter, and they ended in a punt, downs, an interception, downs again, and a final drive where time ran out. Dallas would add on another field goal just for shits and giggles to reach the final score of 25-10. But after looking pretty decent the first 2 weeks of the season, Wentz has completely self-destructed the last 2 games. He now has the most interceptions and most sacks taken in the league. I doubt he makes it through the whole season without being benched. What a sad way his career has turned out. As for Dallas, please bench Cooper Rush once Dak is healthy. Dak scares nobody, but that thing, it scares me. Seattle versus Detroit. Give Detroit credit. They still suck, but they are fucking entertaining as hell now. As for Seattle, Geno Smith has had a very good start to the season and looks like a legit NFL quarterback. Russell Wilson being exposed? The scoring started with Smith finding Will Dissly to go up 7-0. Then Jared Goff found generic white Iowa tight end TJ Hawkinson for a 32-yard touchdown, but the extra point failed to make it 7-6 Seattle. Geno ran for an 8-yard touchdown to give Seattle a 14-6 lead after 1. The teams traded field goals before Geno found Noah Fant for a touchdown to give Seattle a 24-9 lead, but Detroit answered on the last play of the first half with a Jamal Williams touchdown run, but missed the extra point again to make it 24-15 Seattle at halftime. Goff then relapsed and threw a pick 6 to make it 31-15 Seattle. Then Williams answered with a 51-yard touchdown run for Detroit, and Goff ran for a 2-point conversion to make it 31-23. But Rashad Penny broke off a 36-yard touchdown run to make it 38-23 Seattle entering the final period. The fourth started with Goff finding Josh Reynolds for a touchdown and another successful 2-point conversion pass to make it 38-31 Seattle. Seattle kicked a field goal to go up 41-31. Then Goff found Hawkinson again to make it 41-38 Seattle with 5 minutes left. Dan Campbell's kneecap-biting defensive strategy failed to come through, as Penny broke off another long touchdown run to give Seattle a 48-38 lead with 2:14 left. Goff would answer with another touchdown pass to make it 48-45 Seattle with a minute left, but the onside kick failed to seal the win for Seattle. If you still doubt Geno Smith's Hall of Fame case, just look at this stat. We are watching the GOAT in his prime, folks. Tennessee versus Indianapolis. This was a game with a close final score, but it was pretty ugly to watch, no offense to Lizzo. Tennessee jumped out to a 14-0 lead after 1 thanks to a Tannehill touchdown pass and a 19-yard touchdown run by Derrick Henry. After a measly Indiana field goal made it 14-3, Tennessee ripped off 10 more points, including another Tannehill touchdown pass to make it 24-3 midway through the second. It looked like Tennessee was going to win in a blowout, but human Slim Jim lookalike Matt Ryan was not having it. He threw a touchdown to Mo Alley Cox to make it 24-10 at halftime. Ryan once again found Cox, midway through the third to cut the Tennessee lead to 24-17, and then the scoring stopped for both teams. Tennessee failed to score a point on their last 6 drives, while Ryan had 3 drives with a chance to tie the game, but failed to do so. The first drive ended with a punt after Ryan took a bad sack on the verge of field goal range. Hello, Super Bowl 51. The second drive ended with a Jonathan Taylor fumble inside Tennessee's 25, and the third and final drive ended with a missed field goal after Ryan again took a bad third down sack. Tennessee will take the win, but they certainly aren't scaring anybody. It might be time for old Matty Ice to become a family man. Philadelphia versus Jacksonville. This game started off rocky for my Eagles. See what I did there? Jalen Hurts has gotten so used to scoring touchdowns, he accidentally threw one to the other team to give Jacksonville a 7-0 lead. Then Trevor Lawrence found Jamal Agnew for a touchdown to give Jacksonville a 14-0 lead after 1. But I was calm the entire time because I knew Lawrence would keep us in the game with dumb decisions and carelessness. Philadelphia came alive in the second, ripping off 20 straight points on 3 rushing touchdowns, one by Hurts, another by Miles Sanders, and a third by Kenneth Gainwell to take a 20-14 lead into halftime. The third quarter saw a whole bunch of nothing, with neither team scoring. Philly took a 23-14 lead early in the fourth off a Jake Elliott field goal. Then Sanders scored his second touchdown run of the day to make it 29-14 Philly with 9 minutes left. Lawrence answered with another touchdown pass to Agnew to make it 29-21 Philly with 7:19 left. The game wasn't over, but Lawrence has been awful in clutch situations in his young career thus far, so it kinda was. He got the ball down 8 with 1:54 left, but he fumbled to seal the loss for Jacksonville. Lawrence turned the ball over 5 times in this game, 4 of which were on lost fumbles. Philly scored 22 of their 29 points off of Lawrence's turnovers. Thanks, Trevor. Maybe you aren't so bad after all. The Eagles are the last undefeated team in the league, and they will win the Super Bowl in February. You can dread it, you can run from it, but destiny arrives all the same. Fly, Eagles, fly, bitches! New York Giants versus Chicago. Oh, look, another game between two teams with shitty quarterbacks who run the ball a lot and are boring as hell. Yawn. If there was ever such a thing as an NFL game that represents Big Ten football, this was it. There were only 38 pass attempts to 76 rushing attempts in this game. The white supremacists and old heads love that shit. The only 2 touchdowns scored in this game were by Daniel Jones. The Bears never led at any point after a 3-0 lead in the first quarter, although they had plenty of chances late in the game. Down 14-12 late in the third, Justin Fields led them to a 3-and-out. Down 17-12, Fields led them to another 3-and-out. Down 17-12 again, Fields led them to another 3-and-out. Get the picture? Down 20-12 with the ball, Fields threw 1 pass for 2 yards on a 4-play drive before punting. Daniel Jones got hurt and was replaced by Tyrod Taylor before Taylor got injured almost instantly like he always does, meaning the Giants used the Wildcat formation at the end of this game with no healthy quarterbacks, and they still won. If you still believe in Justin Fields, I have a bridge to sell you. He sucks. New York Jets versus Pittsburgh. The much-hyped matchup between lover of titties Mitch Trubisky and hunter of MILF Zach Wilson was somewhat of a letdown early, as the only excitement to come out of the first half of play was a Philly special copycat that ended with Wilson catching a touchdown to give New York a 10-6 halftime lead. Steelers coach Omar Epps had finally seen enough of Trubisky and decided to put in Kenny Kitten Mittens Pickett for the very first time. Pickett's debut was up and down, no offense to Michael J. Fox. He ran for 2 touchdowns, the first putting Pittsburgh up 13-10 entering the fourth, and then another to put Pittsburgh up 20-10 early in the fourth. Wilson then led New York on a long touchdown drive to make it 20-17 Pittsburgh with 7:31 left. But then Pickett threw his second interception of the day, and the elder lady respecter Wilson led New York on another touchdown drive to give him an improbable 24-20 lead with 16 seconds left. Pickett threw another interception on a Hail Mary as time expired to seal the win for the Jets. Pickett threw 13 passes and none of them hit the ground. Unfortunately, 3 of them went to the other team, although he honestly played better than his stat line says. Wilson, on the other hand, was awful for 3 quarters before an excellent fourth quarter. Maybe he's been spending time with Giselle, who cast him with the same spells she gave to Brady all those years to help him win countless games where he doesn't do anything until the fourth quarter. It's not that far-fetched, folks. Arizona versus Carolina. Oh yeah, baby, a battle between 2 former Heisman Trophy winning Oklahoma quarterbacks who were picked first overall. Although, from watching this game, you certainly couldn't tell these guys were anything special, especially Baker Mayfield. Carolina took a 7-0 lead off of a Murray pick 6 in the second quarter. Then the teams traded field goals to make it 10-3 Carolina at halftime. Arizona then realized they were playing a shitty team with a shitty quarterback and reeled off 23 straight points, which included 2 Murray touchdown passes and a Murray touchdown run to make it 26-10 with 7:37 left. Mayfield would throw a touchdown to sexy hard worker Christian McCaffrey to make it 26-16 with 4:47 left, but failed on the 2-point conversion. Carolina never threatened again after that. Baker committed 3 turnovers in this game and is just absolutely fucking terrible now. I honestly thought he was a better quarterback than this after his impressive rookie season in 2018 and his bounce back 2020 season where he was a drive away from making the AFC Championship game. But I'm off the bandwagon now. The only question is whether he'll lose his job to Sam Darnold, which, if you're a Panthers fan, that sentence should make you want to inject 50 marijuanas. As for Kyler, let's hope he doesn't fall off a cliff the way Baker has. Buffalo versus Baltimore. The Ravens have a major problem holding on to leads, as they've now blown 2 17-point leads in 4 games and nearly blew an 11-point fourth quarter lead versus New England last week. Lamar Jackson came out looking in complete control in this one, as Baltimore scored on each of their first 4 drives to take a 20-3 lead over a struggling Buffalo team late in the first half. But then, underrated horny American Josh Allen came alive, throwing a touchdown to make it 20-10 heading into halftime. Baltimore failed to score on each of its last 5 drives, while Buffalo slowly climbed back, first with a field goal to make it 20-13, then 20-all on an 11-yard touchdown run by Josh Allen heading into the fourth. In the fourth, Lamar drove the ball to the Buffalo 1-yard line before a couple of runs went nowhere. Then on fourth down, instead of taking a 20-23 lead with a chip shot field goal, John Harbaugh decided to go for it, and Lamar threw an interception in the end zone. With the remaining 4 minutes, Allen led Buffalo down the field for an easy game-winning 21-yard field goal as time expired to win 23-20. Just an epic failure in coaching by Harbaugh, a guy who has just 2 playoff wins and 0 conference championship game appearances since winning Super Bowl 47 in 2012. Las Vegas versus Denver. It's safe to say the Russell Wilson era in Denver hasn't been as effective as Broncos fans thought it would be thus far. Although Wilson arguably had his best game of the year in this one, it wasn't enough to defeat future Hall of Fame head coach Josh McDaniels and the 0-3 Raiders. The game was pretty evenly matched in the first half. Russ threw 2 touchdowns, but a crucial yet predictable Melvin Gordon fumble was returned 68 yards for a touchdown to help keep Vegas in the game to give them a 19-16 halftime lead. Also, up-and-coming Denver star running back Javonte Williams suffered a major leg injury that could potentially end his career. Prayers up, Javonte. Denver's offense hit a cold streak in the third, punting all 3 times they got the ball, which allowed Vegas to gradually expand their lead to 25-16 with field goals before Russ finally answered back with a touchdown run of his own to make it 25-23 with 7 minutes left. That's when responsible driver of motor vehicles Josh Jacobs took over the game and punched in a touchdown, no offense to Ray Rice, to give Las Vegas a 32-23 lead with 2 minutes minutes left. Denver turned it over in 4 plays, and that was that. Maybe Denver should have traded for Geno Smith instead. Green Bay versus New England. What should have been an easy win for the Packers ended up being a real grind. No offense to Urban Meyer, as it took Aaron Rodgers consuming large amounts of ayahuasca to just barely beat a third-string rookie quarterback with a name from the 1950s in Bailey Zappi. Rodgers was so atrocious in the first half, he threw a pick 6, which never happens to him. This gave New England a surprising 10-7 halftime lead. However, this seemed to wake Rodgers up as he was far better in the second half, throwing a touchdown to large Robert Tonyan to take a 14-10 lead, but Zappi was unfazed, throwing a ref-aided touchdown of his own to Javonte Parker to take a 17-14 lead. A Green Bay field goal made it a 17-17 game entering the fourth, where New England took a 24-17 lead on a Damian Harris touchdown run. Rodgers then got in a groove and found rookie Romeo Doubs for a nice back shoulder touchdown to tie it at 24 with 6 minutes left. Green Bay got the ball back and would have taken a 31-24 lead with 2 minutes left, but Doubs dropped a beautiful dime from Rodgers in the end zone. The game went into overtime where both teams punted before Rodgers finally had enough and got Green Bay into field goal range, where Mason Crosby kicked a 31-yard game-winning field goal as time expired to win 27-24. Bill Belichick is now 72-82 all-time without Giselle Brady as his starting quarterback. Kansas City versus Tampa Bay. It's official. The Chiefs defeating Tom Brady and the Bucs in a Week 4 game on Sunday Night Football makes up for the Bucs beating up on an injured Kansas City team in the Super Bowl 20 months ago. Nobody respects that Mickey Mouse pandemic ring Tampa won anyway. As soon as Tampa fumbled the opening kickoff, you knew this was KC's night. Before you could blink, KC was up 21-3 early in the second. Of course, Brady was still going to do his thing where his receivers magically start getting open once he's down a couple scores. But despite Tampa's offense looking as good as it has all year, Tampa never got within 10 points over the last 50 minutes. KC had an answer for everything Brady did, and that's what you got to do to beat him. Outside of a puzzling interception up 17 late, Mahomes was amazing and better than his stats, which were pretty good anyway. As for Brady, he finally had enough of the running shit and decided to throw it 50 plus times. I really thought in his 367th NFL start that this was going to be the game where Brady's defense finally allowed over 42 points, but KC fell just short in this 41-31 win. Unfortunately, Brady and Tampa Bay play a bunch of shit teams the next 3 weeks, so they'll be 5-2 in no time. As long as Brady has his stacked weapons back, this Tampa team will once again be tough to stop offensively. Eat Arby's. San Francisco versus the LA Rams. Anytime I get to watch Jimmy Garoppolo on national television, it's a win no matter what. His handsomeness is so extreme that it can even save what was a pretty boring game like this one from being unwatchable. LA went up 3-0 on a first quarter field goal before the 49ers went up 7-3 on a 32-yard touchdown run by Jeff Wilson Jr., thanks to a beautiful handoff by Jimmy. Another Rams field goal made it 7-6 midway through the second quarter before Jimmy found Deebo Samuel on a 57-yard touchdown pass to give San Fran a 14-6 halftime lead. Sure, Samuel did a lot of running after the catch, but he only ran as hard as he did because he didn't want to let his beautiful Italian quarterback angel down. Another LA field goal made it a 14-9 game entering the fourth when San Fran went up 17-9 on a field goal of their own. Matthew Stafford had multiple drives down 8 to do something, and he vomited all over himself each time, especially on the second chance wherein he threw a game-losing pick 6 to a Troy Polamalu imposter, which gave San Fran a commanding 24-9 lead, which ended up being the final score. The Rams' entire offense this year has been throw it to Cup, and the results have been disappointing. As for Jimmy, he just keeps winning, improving his career record to 38-17. That's a 69.1% win percentage. You're damn right that's nice. And now it's the moment you bastards have all been waiting for. It's puppy time!